Hello everyone, welcome to the Vespa Idiot. I'm an idiot because my philosophy is I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm doing it anyway. And so I'm making this series of the Vespa Idiot so that you may not have to be one. Okay. So today I want to talk about with my brand new Vespa, Sei Giorni 2020. It's only 4 months old. Already has almost 10,000 kilometers on it, and in those 10,000 kilometers I noticed that they have put in a limiter into the 24 horsepower HPE motor, and that's a big problem because it does have enough power to go up to exactly 120 kilometers measured by a GPS, and then the limiter kicks in. So you have and it's incredibly annoying on the highway to go through that for any length of time. And so you're afraid of every downhill, you're afraid of every straight when you have a backwind, because it feels like you're sitting on a small little moped that's limiting you like that. And so there are several fixes for that, and we're gonna go through them. I have found what I think, with my idiocy, the best solution from what is out there. So there are three mainstream solutions, and I've tried two of the three. According to my philosophy, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm doing it anyway, and I've hit upon something what I think is the most successful. So solution number one is I went to a performance tuning place and was parked between all these BMWs, sport cars and Porsches and Lamborghinis, and they do tuning, and I put-putted in with my little Vespa and asked whether they could do chip tuning on it to get rid of this limiter, because it's a program in the fuel injector that causes that. And they were nice enough to try, and it turns out that these Vespas have a very brand new OBD plug, as it's called, which is where the technician plugs in during a service to get error codes or anything like that. And so that avenue was closed. They couldn't do it because of the plug. Otherwise, they said this should work really well. And so I also talked to a Vespa mechanic afterwards, and he said, "Don't do this, don't be an idiot. They're gonna put some stupid stuff on that chip and you're gonna have grievance forever." And so that was a no-go for right now. The second option is, and I will point this out when we actually look at the tires, that you put in a different reader, ABS speed reader disc. These are these metal rings that are on the back tire and in the Sei Giorni on the back and front tire, where you have less markings there, so the computer thinks the scooter is actually driving slower than it is, and you can pull out another 6-7 kilometers in top speed with that method. The other trick is that I came up with is change my tires. And so what I found out, first of all, I asked somebody who had put bigger rims in it, and I said, so what's it costing, what is involved? And so you get the rims of an MP3 500 Piaggio scooter, and with that you put that on the back and front, the 13 inches, and that way it thinks also that it's slower than it actually is in its top speed, and that fixes that. And to the tune, because you need 2 rims and you need 2 brand new tires, and then here in Germany you have to certify that with the government, and then you're looking at about 800 euros plus. If you need to know how much that is in US dollars, just add 10%, so that would be around 880 US dollars. And that was just no way for me for a gain of 3-4 kilometers an hour maybe, to invest that money. And so I looked around and I found that Michelin produces an oversized tire. So normally you have in a scooter like this, you have 120/70/12 in the front, and in the back you have 130/70/12. And so Michelin produces a 140/70/12 tire for these Vespa scooters, and that's their Michelin City Grip tires. They're very good, they last long, and they have good performance on the road. And so I had this brilliant idea. I order one back tire, the 140 size tire, and put my existing tire, the 130 tire, to the front, so I have a bigger tire at the front, which I knew already fit onto the rim, and take the 12-inch but 140 size tire, brand new, to the back. So I basically got the job done for 70 euros for the tire, and then maybe 20 euros I took them to the garage to have them stripped and put the new tires onto the rims correctly. And so for 100 euros this was all done. And the results were absolutely fantastic. The effects were threefold of this. Number one, through going through potholes or lowered manholes on a faster road or so, which was a real issue before with the smaller tires. You're just sort of gliding right through. It grips better on the road when it's wet, especially when there's some rubber strips when they fix the roads. On the highways where you used to slip around, you don't even feel it anymore. The whole handling, so the second one would be in curves, and the general handling of the entire scooter is far more motorcycle-like. I would have never expected the difference for what essentially amounts to maybe 5 millimeter more radius or so, to be that large. I was very, very astonished. And the third one, so those two were surprises. The third one was pretty much as expected. So the limiter would kick in at exactly GPS 120 kilometers, like clockwork. Now it starts to kick in at 124, and my speed record so far is, with these new tires, of 126. So I have gained about 6 kilometers an hour. The other thing is why it's so much smoother is that with the 24 horsepower and the performance in itself of these supposed high performance engines is disappointing, but it doesn't have the power to always get to that limit of 126, and so you never feel the limiter again. Only if it's strong backwind and shooting down a hill, then you would feel it. So otherwise it doesn't have enough horsepower to get to this limit. So, but now let's have a look at the tire. So let's have a look at those tires. The front tire is actually formerly the back tire. Notice I'm not saying rim, I'm saying tire, because the rims just simply stay the same. So we have here a 130/70/12 from Michelin. That used to be at the very back, and so the back is now a Michelin 140/70/12. So there is a splash guard right above the tire. I will point it out. Now you can't see it. That's this thing right here. And that splash guard is just big enough to fit in there. So you have about well, I'd say 3/4 centimeters, so 7.5 millimeters or something like this. Still room in there. So of course there's far more room when you have the original tire, the smaller tire in it. But this is plenty of room still because the splash guard is flexible and doesn't touch the tire. So I always try to mix in, like in this beautiful book, the art of motorcycle maintenance, to bring in a bit of philosophy into the motorcycle maintenance of a Vespa. And so I want to rant a little bit. The reason why Vespa came up with this limiter, which no other model before it has, is that all you Vespa drivers probably know that when you did shoot down a hill with your unmodified Vespa, that if you got to a certain speed, the belt in the clutch, in the CTV, would skip. So you'd have this very unpleasant all of a sudden in the driving, and it damaged the belt and it damaged the cones where the belt slips on, and it wasn't a good thing. So what did they decide to do to fix it? Well, we'll put a limiter on it, that way it can't go too fast. Well, what kind of fix is that? That is so stupid. I mean, if one of my kids comes to me and says, "Dad, I have a throat ache," I don't take a knife and say, "Okay, boy, I'll fix it," and cut out his throat and put the head back onto, with a few vertebrae short, onto the rump, and say, "Well, there, throat ache is gone. You don't have a throat anymore." What kind of solution is this? Or with the virus going around, that we are locking up 6 billion healthy people in quarantine because a few are sick. Since when, in an epidemic, did we lock away the healthy ones? I mean, these are solutions that are philosophically very, very questionable. And so I must say I was angry about Vespa as much as I'm about the reaction to the virus. What kind of solution is that? So that was a bit of a rant, and now something more humorous. I'm actually living here in Germany, and so to have a slightly different tire on a little scooter is of course a big thing in what is probably the most administratively obsessed country, Germany. So I had to have it certified, also even this little change. And so I went to the motorcycle dealer that has a TÜV, that's called the Technischer Überwachungsverein, which means basically it's just the board that certifies things and vehicles. And so paper number 1 is of course the bill, and that's all right. It was 79 euros for the TÜV guy to come into the motorcycle dealer and do this. Then we have the first page of the report, the second page of the report, the third page of the report, and this is Germany, a fourth page of the report, and voila, the piece de resistance, why I went there. This is my long ownership letter that you have, and it was put in that I now have different tires in there. And then the TÜV guy offered to me, well, do you want it in your little papers? Because in Germany you have to have 2 ownerships. This is the one for selling the bike and proving that you actually own it, and that's your ownership that you leave at home. And then you have, as most of you know, small ownership papers that go into your back pocket that you have to present to police should you be stopped or so. So that was quite a bit of paperwork, and I guess only in Germany. So next time we're going to be looking at how to maintain the exhaust. I will take it off and show you the gaskets that are going in there, and we'll be talking about the noble and the beautiful, because the reason why I have a Vespa is that it is so beautiful. And to be just practical makes life not worth living. But to be practical and beautiful and noble, that's why I have a Vespa, in spite of their silly solutions. Thanks, over and out.